commentary.
Thank you very much, Neil Crofton. And Dick Johnson and Jim Richards continue their great battle for second place behind New Zealand's Robbie Francevic into Glowweave corner again. Francevic still that 50-metre split over Johnson's Mustang, and of course the always reliable JPS BMW 62 of Jim Richards.
Top three have opened up a fair break now on Neville Crichton in 31 in fourth place, and Alan Jones still tagged right onto the end of the leading division, and then 05 John Harvey. They're the top six, but it's about a half lap of the circuit, I'd say, between first and seventh, first and eighth at the present time.
To Glowweave corner, and I suppose from here we may as well take a look of how Dick Johnson
closing up just
a little bit on Robbie Francevic coming along, accepting his pit signal.
Now this is where Francevic gets away just a little bit. Here we go through this corner. That's the one where Brock had the tyre go on him and spun out. Francevic, you can see the Volvo dance across the road right to the outside and up the bank straight. Again, tends to get just a little bit away from Johnson. On go the brakes for Francevic. Johnson closes up under brakes. Here they go into the Castrol S's, and handling is a plus here for Johnson. Oh, they really do have to throw these big cars around to get them through these corners. On to Glowweave again. A very tough right-hander right to the outside and straighten up for the long run down the main straight at Keilor. And again, you can see the advantage of the turbo Volvo on the straights.
That's first, Rob Francevic. Second, Johnson. Third, of course, is Jim Richards. Man stepping back into the driver's seat today is, of course, John Harvey. The car that has been campaigned by Peter Brock, that's the 05 Commodore. Peter Brock electing to drive the 7 car after it suited him just a little better, and the car was a little quicker in practice.
What was it you were saying when you spoke to him earlier about Lucky 7?
Well, yeah, you probably have something to say about that later, but with a deflating tyre, that's not really something you can blame on Peter Brock. But John Harvey, good to be back in racing in the 05 car, and he'll probably go back to the 7 car, I would think, for the next round of the Touring Car Championship, to be held at Surfers Paradise in about a fortnight's time. So John Harvey continues along in the field.
He's been a while out of the saddle, halves. We haven't sighted him since the end of last year.
Running 6th at the moment on the road, John Harvey.
But as you saw in Neil Compton's report, it's taken the dealer team a little time to get their second car up and running, but it now is, and it's good to have halves back on the track. The leader is Robbie Francevic from New Zealand in car number 21, the turbocharged Volvo. There it is, second place, still being held down by 17 Dick Johnson, and Jim Richards in 62 is third. Half distance, 30 laps remaining in the Eurobox Trophy. Round 6 of the Australian Touring Car Championship as Dick Johnson continues to pursue the turbocharged Volvo of Robbie Francevic, the race leader. And, gee, Johnson is getting close. In fact, a little more than close, I think.
The peer may be, certainly Francevic is climbing everything he can get a back wheel over, then some, and might be having some tyre problems. Because at this particular point of the racetrack, the long straight, you'll notice the Volvo just clears right out. But look how Dick will close it up under brakes.
And look out Dick, because right behind him is Jim Richards.
Yes, it won't be long before Richards is back to put the pressure on them again. Francevic used a wide entrance there, comes out, picks up the inside wheel as they come down the back straight with still Dick Johnson tagging him, and Jim Richards not that far back, and Johnson will have to cover his tracks now because Richards will come up on the inside of him, and he's just managed to fend him off there as they come up behind one of the slower cars. All over the ripple step that time is Robbie Francevic. He's trying desperately to hang on and post a win here in the 6th round of the Touring Car Championship. Johnson using the low line out of the corner, and Jim Richards sitting right on the tail of Dick Johnson's Mustang as they come up the straight again. wait to see whether or not Richards can pull out of the draft and take an inside shot at Johnson.
Just about nose to tail, the top three, Francevic, Johnson and Richards. Back to Valvoline corner again. Oh, by geez, really punishing that Volvo, Francevic. Desperation measures to stall off the other two.
And there's not much really Dick Johnson can do about it, because the Volvo has got that much squirt on the straight. He's all over the car, and the part of the racetrack where the better handling, and he says, come on, Rob, get on with it. Look at Richards here, look at Richards down the outside. And I think the signal has gone out to Robbie Francevic to either get on with it, but Dick has gone for the outside lick. He's not going to get anything there.
He might have given it up to Richards.
May have well. He's dropped. Yes, he has. As they come across the line, you'll notice Richards now will come up into second. A pass there from Jim Richards moves him to second behind Robbie Francevic. Francevic has been off the pace a little. He's got some rubber off the back bumper, as you can see, starting to shred, and I think it won't be long before Jim Richards gets on even terms down here with the slower cars and Robbie Francevic.
Pretty low percentage try, what don't you reckon, from Dick to go to the outside there? It's cost him a place.
Well, I think he was thrown a little out of momentum that time by the time touching Francevic. Tell you what, there's not too many have missed the back of Robbie's Volvo today.
I think he's getting a bit of a touch up there from Richards as well. Johnson goes the outside again.
That won't work. Come back onto the straight. They're still, notice the leaders are still well clear of Neville Crichton and Alan Jones, and now Francevic has Jim Richards closing up to him at this corner. Well, if he can keep that Volvo turned up, and here's the go down the inside, says Jim. He went wide that time, and Jimmy Richards goes through to take over the lead, and Johnson up very quickly on the inside, is trying to fight back, but Francevic won't give way. Francevic continues on the outside. Johnson will have the line for the turn. Jimmy Richards, car number 62, has done it from fourth place. Comes back to now lead the Australian Touring Car Championship. Dick Johnson in second place, and Robbie Francevic is third. What a race.
Had to happen. The tyres just wouldn't hold the road for Francevic after the punishing that they've taken for the first 40 laps of this race. He couldn't hold the line through the corner. Not only did Richards get through to take the lead, but Johnson is through for second. Oh, boy. Breathless stuff. So, the series leader, the man that's won 3 out of 5 so far, assumes command once more. It's a little battle scarred, that Volvo, isn't it?
Yes, you're right there. Number 10, they're coming up on now. And, of course, is John Smith in the Toyota Corolla. But Richards comes down through the Castrol S's. Impeccable drive from Richards. Gee, what a pressure drive from him. He was all over Robbie Francevic, got tangled up behind him. Out of shape. Dick Johnson nabbed second back off him, but he's been able to come back again with Robbie Francevic's car dropping clearly off the pace as Richards and Dick Johnson now have opened up 100 metres.
Spearing down the main straightaway past the grandstand, closing very rapidly on car 10, the Corolla of John Smith, that made its first appearance in the small car category in Adelaide last week. Still in the process of sorting it out, but it's going to be a good little race car once they get it up and running in its class. Side by side with Jim Richards. And Richards and Johnson both go through, as you'd expect, with the horsepower that they've got under the bonnet. Coming round through Glowweed.